chose to look at Virginia's answer to the affordable housing crisis. So a little background information. Virginia did not have affordable housing policy as a part of its legislation until 1990 with the National Affordable Housing Act, which affirmed the national goal that every American family should be able to afford a decent home in a suitable environment. One goal to note was that it wanted to extend and strengthen partnerships among all levels of government and the private sector in the production and operation of housing affordable to low-income and moderate-income families. From about 1990 to 1970, there were a few pieces of legislation, but it was slow and it lagged. And then in 2007 to 2008 with the housing crisis, legislation was once again on the books. Since then, we haven't seen much legislation except for a few initiatives like the Housing Trust Fund in 2017. 2 weeks ago, I was actually at the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference, and Governor Northam signed Executive Order 25, reaffirming Virginia's dedication to affordable housing. He noted 3 areas that he wanted to focus on, which was to increase permanent supportive housing, address the shortage of quality affordable housing, and reduce the eviction rates across the Commonwealth. So we'll first look at cost-burdened Virginians. As you can see, those in the 2 lowest income brackets are also the ones with the highest percentage for cost-burdened owners and renters. This means that these individuals are paying 30% or more of their income towards housing and utilities, which then in turn make them neglect food, clothing, and health care. Then we'll look at homeless Virginians. He focused on permanent supportive housing, which are long-term community-based housings for persons with disabilities. In these housing situations, they also have support services along with the housing. So he wants to increase that as a part of the housing initiative in Virginia. And then evicted Virginians. So 5.12% does not seem like a lot, but that equates to 51,821 evictions in the state of Virginia in 2016. Eviction Lab conducted a study for evictions across the entire United States. They came up with a list of 100 states with the highest eviction. Virginia actually had 6 localities in the top 15. So we really do have an issue. Those were primarily in Richmond, Northern Virginia, and then the Hampton Roads area. Which leads me, I chose to just focus on the most interesting. At first, Governor Northam was not a formal actor on my radar until he signed Executive Order 25 into action, basically saying Virginia is dedicated to getting affordable housing. And then I work for the Virginia Center for Housing Research at Virginia Tech. We're a research organization, and we conduct housing needs analyses throughout the Commonwealth. And our research in addressing the impact of housing for Virginia economy showed that Virginia's economy is linked to affordable housing, and actually Amazon's decision to come to Arlington required that there be affordable housing as a part of their decision to move there. The policy environment, so affordable housing is a need across various income levels and demographics. However, it's been shaped to focus on minorities with public housing and Section 8 housing and housing choice vouchers. However, now we see that the elderly have problems affording their housing, veterans, children's mothers, and disabled persons. So essentially, in the social constructions, they touch all areas, which I think is why Governor Northam just signed the executive order to get affordable housing on the books. And then thinking ahead, so furthering affordable housing policy will take creativity in defining how affordable housing looks, the assessment of land and the development of building technology. In 5 to 10 years, policy will further unconventional partnerships to form unique affordable housing results, including community land trusts, co-housing communities, and zoning modifications. The rendition you see is actually of, it's called the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, and it's in Charlottesville. These houses will be solar panels on the roofs. They'll have granite, stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors, energy efficient windows, and these are affordable due to the community land trust, and I can explain that if someone wants to ask a question. But